Hey everyone, and welcome to A Letter to My Boys. And here's our question for the day.
Hey Teddy, hey Charlie, it's me Poppy. Today is June 15th, 2018, and today's story is a doozy. Our question is, what happened to Teddy's knee? This story takes place about 2 months ago. It happened at the end of April. It was a Monday night, and I remember it today like it was yesterday. But I'm just now ready to talk about it. It's a pretty traumatic experience for everyone involved, and the effects are still being felt to this day. So if you look at Teddy's knee on his right leg, just underneath the kneecap, you'll see a pretty big scar. And this is the story of how that happened. Charlie, Teddy, and me were playing in the living room. We were doing body painting. We were using Crayola body paint and paint brushes to paint each other's faces and our bodies and the floor and the door and the kitchen table. We were listening to music and having a really good time. The night started out perfectly. It was a Monday, we came home from school, we played outside, we ate dinner, and then we were painting. So what comes next after you paint? You gotta clean up. So I took you boys and I brought you into the bathroom. We ran a bath, and you guys were in there playing happily together. It was really like the perfect night. However, when I brought you guys in there, I also brought in the water cup that we were using to clean the brushes. Now, your father is a smart man, but when you're taking care of 2 children, sometimes you become very stupid. You become thoughtless because your brain is overwhelmed. That night, I acted pretty stupidly. Instead of using the plastic cup like I normally would, I decided to use a glass mason jar. And when I brought you guys into the bathroom, I left that mason jar next to the sink. I left you guys in there, and I went out and started to hang laundry on the drying rack. Well, what happened next? I'm sure you can imagine. Charlie, you picked up that mason jar and dropped it on the edge of the bathtub, and it smashed into about 1 million pieces. Teddy, you're a good boy, and you tried to clean it up. But what happened was, while you were trying to clean it, you slipped because you were standing up in the bathtub, and you fell on a curved piece of glass perfectly on the bottom of your kneecap. And then I heard the worst sound I had yet heard in my life. It was a blood-curdling scream. And I knew immediately what happened. I knew that the glass broke and somebody fell on it. But I didn't know how bad it was. So I ran to the bathroom and I picked you up. And as I was picking you up to take you out of the bathtub, the glass fell out and blood started gushing. Now, I had seen more blood. I've had worse cuts on myself. But nothing could prepare me for seeing it on you, Teddy. It was horrifying. But I know that I needed to stay calm. So I was able to take a deep breath and figure out what to do. I took the towel that we had to dry you off and I wrapped it around your leg. After about a minute of holding pressure, I checked, and there was a huge cut. Not only was it long, but it was deep. It was about as far as I think it could go before it started to go back out the other way. So I told your mother we need to go to the hospital, and I said we need to call an ambulance because I don't think we should be moving him ourselves. So we called the ambulance, and that was your first ride in the ambulance. So they took about 5 minutes to get there, and during those 5 minutes, Teddy, you were awesome. I was holding the towel on your leg, and you didn't scream, you didn't cry a lot, you just had tears running down your face. And I think you were scared because you could see that Mommy and Poppy were both scared. So, Mom got your brother Charlie ready, just put on his clothes and diaper, and then when the ambulance got there, she took you to the local hospital where she works. So we went to the hospital emergency room, because like I said, it was late at night and there wasn't a doctor on call who could check. So we went to the emergency room and they said he might need surgery. So you have to stay overnight and talk to a doctor in the morning. So we stayed overnight and the doctor checked. He told us that you cut the muscle and the tendon and that you'd need surgery. So, okay, fast forward through the surgery, you came out and you were perfect. You were a champ and you did a really great job. However, you had to stay in the hospital for 4 days of recovery. During those 4 days, I was bringing Charlie back and forth and trying to take care of him as best I could, because your mother needed to stay there with you. You couldn't be alone in the hospital, and I wasn't as helpful as she could be. But in taking Charlie back and forth, he was not getting good sleep. He wasn't eating right, and he was in a contaminated environment. So, as luck had it, he got pneumonia, and he had to stay in the hospital for 10 days. Full admission, and get all these different types of antibiotics and an IV drip to get himself better. So your mom spent 14 days in the hospital with both of you two, while I was at home by myself. So that's the story of how you got the scar on your knee, Teddy. Hopefully it's the first and the last. But if not, I'm looking forward to it anyway. I love you, boys.
Thanks for listening, guys. Now go find me and let me know your answers.